Hello and welcome to another lesson from My Math World. I am your teacher, Steven Jackson. If you remember, in our last lesson we started looking at complex fractions. And in short, what we had was we had two fractions we were subtracting in the top and two fractions we were subtracting in the bottom. That was pretty ugly. But what I'm trying to show my students and show my viewers is when we break something like an ugly complex fraction down into smaller slices, anything is impossible in Steven's Math World. And what we got from the top number last lesson, we found out that when we put a box around it and just focused on it, we had two fractions that we were subtracting. And then we found a common number for the to be able to take and represent the fractions as common fractions, and then we subtracted, recognizing that we were going to be one burger short or one ice cream bar short. That's why we ended up with a negative. Now in the bottom, what I want you to do is grab your favorite marker. I want you to put a box around it. And we notice again, we have two fractions. We have 3/4 and we have a minus 7 over 10. In Steven's world, something minus something, that's the difference. Now, in this fraction, both fractions are between 0 and 1. We're talking about a bag of burgers that has 4 burgers in it. And we're going to take and give out 3. We're talking about a bag of burgers that has 10 in it, and we're going to take out 7. So we need to make sure we come up with a common bag of burgers. So the first thing we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to go ahead and think of a number that we can take 4 and 10 into. Over here to the side, if we take and break 4 down to 2 times 2, those are the smallest possible numbers that can both go into 4. If we do the same for 10, we see 2 times 5. So now, what we need to do, we have 2 times 2, and we have 2. So what do you think is going to go into our common denominator over there? That's right. The most runs in a baseball game wins. So we need to make sure there's at least a 2 times 2. And since there's not a 5 up here but a 5 here, we need to make sure that there's a 5 there. So when we go ahead and take our calculators or do it in our head, we find out that the common denominator for 4 and 10 to go into is 20. Now if we go ahead and take a slice of 4 out of 20, how many slices are we going to get? 4 into 20. That's right, we get 5 slices. And now since we took a slice out, we divided 20 into 5 parts, we take 5 times 3 and we get 15. Now, over here, for those of you who don't like to slice first, you rather multiply, that's the slice you're comfortable with, that's okay. Let's take 20 and let's take 7 and let's multiply it together. 20 times 7, actually you can take 2 times 7 and get 14. Tack on the 0 and that's 140. Now you can take 10 slices out of 140, which all you have to do is drop the 0 and you get 14. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We have our common denominator of 20. We take 15 and we have minus 14. So in our big bag of burgers, we have a bag of 20 burgers. We're going to take out 15 burgers and give it to everybody, and we find out there's only 14. How many burgers do we have left over? We got 1 burger left over. And I think since you were the one who went out and bought the bag of burgers, I think you should get the extra burger. 15 minus 4 is 1 over 20. And so, ladies and gentlemen, right here, what we accomplished after the second lesson is we took a very ugly problem and we got it down to negative 1 over 10 over 1 over 20. And in our next lesson, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and we'll focus on how to deal with this quotient. But until next time, please like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my channel on YouTube at OVDad59. And remember this, your goals and your dreams, your ugly problems is my job.